Hello everyone, this is Nick, the other half of Overweight Pandas. I'm going to be doing the Persona 4 review, and I'm really excited because it's one of my favorite games ever. Persona 4 is the fourth installment in the popular Persona series, a spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei mainline games developed by Atlus. It takes place in a rural town named Inaba, where a series of murders are being committed, and a strange rumor has been spread that involves watching a TV at midnight while it is raining, allowing the viewer to see their soulmate. You enter the town as an exchange student, living with your uncle and his daughter. You're thrust into school life where you make new friends and interact with your peers to create social links that not only help to develop characters, but also add to your abilities in combat. The game features the four-person party system that was used previously in Persona 3, but in Persona 4 and Persona 4 Golden, you actually can manually control each character in your party, making it a bit easier and more efficient to use. The press turn and one more system is also still in effect, allowing you to make another move if you play in an enemy's weakness. One feature that I really enjoy is that after every battle, you're given a chance to get just a little bit more cash or experience or even a new persona with this kind of roulette system. It's really exciting, it's kind of fun in itself. It's cool that you can get rewarded after a battle. The persona system itself plays out a lot like a mature system of Pokemon, allowing you to mix and match personas, letting you choose which abilities they inherit. The time system of Persona 3 is still used, but this time it's focused on the weather, which has an effect on the game and the progression of the story, sort of mixing in with this big theme of fog happening in the city. It kind of affects the social links that you can have and the events that you can do at a time, but I'm not going to give away too much when it comes to the story, which I think is really interesting. Style-wise, Persona 4 is a lot more lighthearted than Persona 3, despite the obvious mystery plot concerning the murders in the town. I'd like to praise Shoji Meguro's stellar soundtrack. It's a bit more J-pop than the mostly hip-hop style of Persona 3, but it's still really enjoyable, and it doesn't get old. The animated cutscenes are also great, and I love the English dub. I think the voice acting is great all around, and it really helps to add more depth to the characters, and you get really interested and intrigued with them, and you sort of become like really into these characters, you know? I love the writing in general. I think that using a school setting is great. It adds like a lot of depth to it. You're constantly doing something that really helps with the pace of the game, and you feel busy like a high school student was. The social simulation aspects are kind of like the second half of the game, where some of the game you're doing combat, and some of the game you're doing your social simulation, where you're in high school, you're interacting with your peers, you're meeting people and getting jobs, and it's all really entertaining. It was a wise choice by the developers to add so many events too, as well, that you and your friends can engage in, so it doesn't like become repetitive and there's not a lot of monotony or tediousness to it. There's a lot of twists and turns in the game that are really interesting, and you get really engrossed in everything. It's got a staggering amount of content. I have had an upwards of 100 hours on it, and I'm still on a New Game Plus, which is really interesting. It adds a lot more content to it. Persona 4 Golden is awesome in general, and I think it's even a good enough reason to get a Vita itself. It's like it adds an epilogue that's really interesting to me. I really enjoy the epilogue, and I add the new character that they added is really interesting as well. Even though for the most part fans kind of dislike Marie, she's still pretty interesting, I think. There's a bunch of outfits, new spoken lines, an epilogue, obviously. They added way more events, including a winter break trip that you can go on, so it's like living the life of a really interesting high school student. For the most part, I love this game. Where do I think they could have done better? Perhaps added more animations, I guess, to battle. I don't really think there's much that they need to be improved on when it comes to an RPG, a Japanese RPG at that, with the 4-player system. I think they perfected the formula, to be honest. It always stays interesting. It rarely gets boring, and it rarely feels like it's dragging on. So I think this is a must-play for anybody who's into JRPGs anybody that wants to get into the genre, I would say do it. I mean, it's mostly a great game. I don't see any flaws with it, really. So, with that, this review is over. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the game if you choose to play it. Even Persona 4 Arena is great if you want to try that out. And that's all. Thank you.